Podcast. We are back. It is Friday, May 8th, 2020, and we have been talking about tally charts and bar graphs this week in math. We're just going to do a quick review of what we know about analyzing and interpreting tally charts, and then I want to read you this Tally Cat Keeps Track story. It's a fun story. Okay, let's go back to Wednesday's lesson here, and let's just talk about what we know about tally charts. We know this is a tally chart here, and we know that one tally represents one thing. We know that a tally chart has a title, and in this case, it's here at the bottom, but most of the time we see it at the top, and the title for this is Food for Ben's Cookout. And we also know when we're talking about tally charts is that a grouping like this represents 5. And when we create a tally chart, we start with listing our choices. So first we have to think about what data do we want to collect. So we're talking about our favorite color, our favorite toy, favorite season like you did this week. We think about what information do we want to collect. So we think about a question about something that we want to find out. So once you have that, your idea or your topic, then you think about the answer choices. You can't have too many. So for this particular case, the food at Ben's Cookout, there were going to be hot dogs, hamburgers, and chicken. So his title is Food for Ben's Cookout. Then he listed his 3 choices on the tally chart. Then once he had that ready, he walked around and asked each person, do you want a hot dog, a hamburger, or chicken? And remember, 1 tally mark for 1 thing. So when he went and asked his uncle, he made 1 mark for whatever he chose. If he chose hot dog, 1 mark. So just 1 mark for each answer. When you get to 5, you do your tally across this way, and this grouping means 5. So when you finish surveying and asking your family the questions, or the group of people that you are working with, then you go back and you look at it and you analyze it. You interpret the information. So in this case, you would go back here, and we know this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then we will write right here 9. Here we know this for the hamburgers is 8. And then for the chicken is 5. So then you can interpret this by knowing, if I look at this tally chart, I can tell just by looking at it that most people wanted hot dogs. The least amount of people wanted chicken. So now I take this information from my tally chart that I created, and I take it and I create a bar graph, and this is our bar graph. We know a bar graph also has a title, Food for Ben's Cookout. Our answer choices, or our choices, are listed here. Our bar graph goes up and down in this particular case. It goes up and down for this, the one that we created this week. And there are amounts go here. We start with number 1, and then we go up to the highest number based on the data that we collected. And we know the highest number is 9, so we went all the way up to 9. Then we just take the information from our tally chart and we enter it into our bar graph. So here hot dogs was 9. So we marked all the way up until we got to 9. Hamburgers was 8, so we marked all the way to 8. And then chicken was 5, and we went all the way up to 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can then take this bar graph and we can easily tell, because this column is the tallest, that most people wanted hot dogs, and we can also tell that really quickly that the least amount of people wanted chicken. So I hope you enjoyed creating a tally chart of the favorite seasons of your family, and then taking that and creating your bar graph. Now I want to go back to our story, and I just want to read this short story to you. It's called Tally Cat Keeps Track. Tally Cat Keeps Track by Trudy Harris. Tally McNally was an alley cat, but more than that, a tally cat. So it shows here, trees climbed. He says Tom climbed 3, Kitty climbed 3, Tally climbed how many? 6. That's a group of 5 plus 1 is 6. This is Tally. So who climbed the most trees in this case? Tally. He kept a tally all day long of who was right and who was wrong. Let's look at this. Time's right, Stripes, Boots, Tally. Those are the 3 people that he's keeping marks on. Of who was tall and who was taller. Right here. Ken's tall. Here's his tally. I'm thinking the reason they call him Tally Cat is because he makes tallies for just about everything, doesn't he? Of who was small and who was smaller. And when all things were said and done, Tally McNally always won. He went scratch, scratch, scritchy, scratch, scratch. Times I won today. How many times did he win? 3. One day Tomcat splattered with rain, plopped in a chair, and began to complain. I'm soaked to my skin. No cat is as wet. Look at him. But Tally McNally said slyly, not yet. Uh-oh, what's he up to? 10 drops for you and 16 for me means I'm the wettest. You'll have to agree. Look at this silly cat here. Then he stood on a box and announced with a grin, I'm Tally McNally and I'll always win. Scratch, scratch, scritchy, scratch, scratch. He just wants to win all the time, doesn't he? No way, shouted Tomcat. I say you're a cheat. To settle this fairly, let's meet in the street. What do you notice about cheat, meet, street? You're right, they all rhyme. Tom dove in a puddle, and rainwater rose over his chin to the tip of his nose. He jumped to his feet and declared, now I'm wetter. Admit it, McNally, I'm wetter. I'm better. Not true, replied Tally. The score is now tied. You're the winner out there, but I won inside. So, scratch, scratch, scritchy, scratch, scratch. Wettest inside, Tom, Tally, 1. Wettest outside, Tom, 1, Tally, 0. So that's why he's saying they're tied. I'll do even better, they heard Tally utter as Tally McNally slid down the gutter. Stop! Shouted Tomcat. Kitty yelled, wait! But sadly for Tally, their calls came too late. He went scratch, scratch, scritchy, scratch, splash. Uh-oh. Look at his face. You think maybe he's thinking, maybe I shouldn't have done this? I think so. Look at the mouse or the rat here. His hands are up on his face. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what is he doing? Help, shouted Tally. I'm stuck in the drain. I don't want to be wetter. I'm sick of the rain. But how can we help you? You're so deep below. Just run and find Boots. She's the smartest. She'll know. Boots stretched toward Tally, then said with a frown, I can't reach him either. He's much too far down. We need someone taller. But who could that be? From below a voice came. Stripes is the tallest. You'll see. I think that Tally McNally knew that Stripes was the tallest because he had already done a tally of who was the tallest. Remember back earlier, a few pages back? So that kind of helped him in this situation, didn't it? They went search, search, searchy, search, search. They couldn't find Stripes. Stripes stretched and he stretched with all his might, but Tally McNally remained out of sight. Uh-oh. If Stripes cannot get him, none of us can, Boots said. Then she added, we need a new plan. We don't just need taller, we also need smaller. Well, Kitty's the one, they heard Tally holler. We need smallest and tallest and smartest, and yet we still need another. We'll have to get wet. Boots whispered her plan as they stood in a huddle. I wonder what the plan is. Do you have any ideas? Let's find out. Then one by one they all lay by the puddle. Paw in paw they formed a long chain and lowered poor Tom down the dark, dank drain. He looks a bit scared, doesn't he? Look at his eyes. Stretch, stretch, stretchy, stretch, stretch. Look, they're so close. And I notice here it says days stuck in the drain. 1. 1 tally mark, so that's 1. So he's still making tallies, isn't he? Hooray! They all shouted, we finally got him, and out of the hole together they brought him. After high fives and hugs, they waved to McNally. Then back in the alley, he made one last tally. He went scratch, scratch, scritchy, scratch, scratch. It says, Kitty, Tally, Tom, Stripes, Boots. Friends forever. How many tallies is that? 5, right? I wonder if that's a tally for each person. Let's see how many are each cat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 friends and 1 tally. Remember, 1 tally for 1 thing. So 1 tally for each friend. Tally up. Have you ever used your fingers to help you count? Using fingers is one way to keep track of the number of things we are counting. But sometimes these items we are counting total more than our 10 fingers. Tallying is another way for people to keep track of things they count. Tally marks look just like this, don't they? So we can use this. Sometimes we need to use more than what we have. We only have 10 fingers. So tallying is another way to help us count numbers that are more when we get more than 10. In tally, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, tally cross 5. Right? Each tally line represents one thing that we are counting. We can continue counting by adding more tally lines or marks. 6, 7, 8, 9, tally cross for 10. Then the next group will be 11, 12, 13, 14. Then another mark for the 5th one. That's cross 15. So when we count groups of tallies, we count by 5s. For anything left over, marks, we keep counting by 1s. The numbers below end with a group of 3. So let's look here. We can count by 5s, right? 5, 10, 15. Now we got to count by 1s. 16, 17, 18. Very good. So I hope you enjoyed this book. And this book is in Epic. So if you want to go back and read this book on your own, feel free to do that. Guys, I hope you enjoyed your math lessons this week. And I hope you have an awesome Friday, a great weekend. Remember what Sunday is. It's a special day, isn't it? So, you guys have a great weekend, and I will be talking to you soon. Goodbye.